I'm driving along, I'm talking informally about questions that I get given to us as we go about the process of trying to start a church in a remote town through starting a group there we call Missional Community. So that's the topic I want to talk about now, which is what is a missional community and how might it be different than a small group or a life group. Now, in fairness, in short, it's probably very similar to what you might think about as a small group, except for these features. Number one, it's not a meeting, it's a group. We really hammer this in our church. This is the fundamental building block of how Cross City is built. If you are not in a missional community, you're just a beloved visitor, and we tell you that again and again, because the only way to be part of Cross City is to get into a missional community. And everyone does that long before they become a member. In fact, their membership is contingent upon them being active in a missional community. If they quit doing that, then their membership is no longer active. And so we funnel everything through that. Missional communities are intergenerational, dual gender. They're old and young, men and women, children. Within those, we address men's issues and women's issues specifically. In smaller groups, we call DNAs. But missional community really is an expression of God's family. The church is fundamentally God's family, so we need to function like that family, not just in name. It's kind of funny, sometimes I hear people visiting a local church like, man, that church is like family, which I think is a funny thing, because that's like you visiting my family and saying, man, that family is like family. Of course we should be like family, because we are family, and that's what a church is. It is God's family, his adopted sons and daughters. Think even through the qualifications for a pastor. He needs to be able to lead his own home, his own household, oikos, well. Otherwise, how can he lead the church, which is the home, household, the oikos of the living God? So church must be a family. So our groups are an expression of family. It really kind of helps you target on who you really should love, especially once we get more people than like 30 people in a church. So the other feature of a missional community that is unique is, yes, because it is a group, it does have a weekly meeting in our context. They usually get together and have a dinner, really demonstrating that sense of family. And they not only have a dinner, but they do something, and they do something different every night. In our context, once a month we ask them to do nothing but pray after dinner. And once a month we ask them just to watch us stream in a teaching and they discuss it. And then we also ask the leaders to, however, at their own discretion, really do various things to really stoke the concept of family, maybe sharing testimony, maybe sharing needs, maybe talking about how we love one another, maybe serving together. We also ask them to stoke the concept of mission by helping them all remember that. So always bringing that mission to the front, because that's the name Missional Community. We're not a reclusive community running away from this world out of fear. We are a closed community. We are identified by Jesus, and his ways and his truth are what defines our group. But we are missional. So that is the point of our lives, and that's the point of our fellowship together, still being existent on earth, is that God has designed us to be actively involved. And not only individually at our workplace and our softball leagues and our neighborhoods and our friendships, but also together. So John 13, John 17, 3 times it is mentioned, Jesus calling us to the new commandment, love one another. And by this, the world will know you're my disciples. John 17, 2 times. Jesus is begging the Father for our unity. Why? So that the world will know that Jesus is from the Father. They see that when they see our unity. And also that the Father loves his kids. They also see that when they see our unified love sponsored by the Spirit. So we're not just individual missionaries. We are sent together as missionaries. And so we get that funny name, Missional Communities, which we totally ripped off from other guys, namely the folks out in Soma, Tacoma, Washington, Jeff Vanderstel, and those who helped him with that. Forever thankful for the training they gave us in that. So that's what a missional community is, and why it may be different than what you think of as a small group or maybe a cell group. It is a group, not a meeting. It's a group identified around Jesus. It is, therefore, they have meetings, but it is really a community that is dedicated to the mission of Christ, not just simply running away from the world. We must feast on Christ. We must really love one another, but we do that because we're on that mission and we help each other in that mission. So that's how I would define at this moment a missional community.
In about 10 miles, take exit 152 onto US 40 toward Zanesville.